Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Jack Flaherty is going back to the Detroit Tigers. This will be his second stint. He was traded last year at the trade deadline, and then the Tigers went on a run and made the playoffs. So, Tigers obviously missed him when they got to the playoffs. It was Skubal in the bullpen, pretty much making up those games. And yeah, it's a good second piece to Skubal, and I'm a little shocked that his market took this long to materialize, but he ends up back at the Tigers.
Yeah, it's an interesting move for sure because you mentioned he got traded to the Dodgers to get Sweeney back in that deal, and he's projected to be their starting shortstop. So it's a pretty good piece of business to sell pretty high on Flaherty at the deadline. Obviously, it's a deal that worked out for both teams. They get a pretty good shortstop in Sweeney. He was young, and obviously the Dodgers won the World Series, and he had some pretty big moments for them. So it's a good fit. I'm with you. I'm really surprised it took this long. If this was going to be the deal, 2 years, 35 million. It's obviously a little bit front loaded. He's going to have about a 25 mil AAV in the first year. Then obviously it's a player option the second year. So we'll obviously see how he fits in. But solid move for the Tigers, who now get another guy to go behind Scooble.
Yeah, and going over that depth chart, it's going to be Skubal and Flaherty at the top, like we said, and then Reese Olson. They also signed Alex Cobb, and then they have Casey Mize, penciling at five. It's not a bad guy to have penciled in back there. So
Mm-hmm.
it looks like the rotation's materializing, and now it's are they going to go get Alex Bregman? That's been the rumor all offseason. Pete Alonso probably isn't on the docket here with Colt Keith going over to first base already.
Yeah.
So, you know, Bregman's the only fish left, at least the big one left. And if it's not going to be Bregman, they're going to have to look to the trade market, and spring training is 2 weeks away. So, minimal time to add a bat here. There are still some decently good players available. Maybe you see like a JD Martinez go back to this club, and be that seasoned vet in the DH spot. I don't know. I'm just throwing some stuff at the wall.
Yeah.
Maybe it sticks, maybe it doesn't. But going over that payroll, like you were saying, it actually comes out to a 17.5 AAV. And if he gets 15 starts, that club option goes from 10 to 20. So this could be a nice little 2-year deal for Jack Flaherty. I think he probably hits the market no matter what next year,
Mm-hmm.
if I had to guess, because he's going to be 30 years old. He waits until he's 31. Who knows what type of deal he gets? But he does have that player option to basically as insurance if this year doesn't go well.
Yeah, the Tigers has spent quite a bit of money this offseason. They've had for the market that they're in, right? They're not a huge market. They don't spend a lot of money all the time. So, you know, they probably gave a little bit too much money to Alex Cobb, but Glaber Torres, Flaherty, I really like the addition of Tommy Kahnle in the bullpen. It's a veteran guy who's pitched a lot of moments in the playoffs, and he just adds to an already really good bullpen last year that they don't have a lot of the names in the bullpen, but they were a scrappy bunch down the stretch, and it was a pretty fun team to watch.
Yeah, 100%. They have plenty of money. I mean, they're
Oh
at
yeah.
156, and so they can go afford a Bregman. I mean, it wouldn't. It's not going to hurt them. They have a lot of young players, under contract through arbitration. They're
Hmm.
not paying much. They need to pay Tariq Skubal eventually if they want to keep him.
Yeah.
But outside of this disaster contract of Javi Baez, I
Yeah.
mean, they have money to spend. They're not locked in anywhere. So Colt Keith's on that team friendly extension. It's a $4 million AAV. So, and there's some club options on that thing. So, I mean, I think the Tigers are going to be a good team in the next couple of seasons, but they do need to go bolster this offense.
Yeah, Bregman makes a ton of sense. Obviously, you got the AJ Hinch connection there. Had him when he was with the Astros, but this is a young core. They need a dude in that lineup, and not to say that Riley Green couldn't turn into be that player, or Parker Meadows turned into be a player like that. But you go look at the market like Brett, like this is a perfect spot. Like they got Jace Young projected to be there, but you fill it in with Bregman. This is it just transforms the lineup and makes it a lot deeper.
Yeah, and I wonder, we did say Pete Alonso is probably off the docket here, but with the guy with that much power and how big that ballpark is, it begs the question: is Pete Alonso maybe a better fit than Alex Bregman for this team?
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, they have Young coming up. You'd have to move him. I know they're moving Colt Keith to make Glaber work, but I mean, if you put a Pete Alonso in that four hole, Meadows, Torres, Green, Alonso,
yeah.
I mean, as far as fear goes as a hitter, I would say that, maybe Alonso would make a bigger impact than Bregman would.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I just love Bregman's defense at the hot corner, right? It's and then you'd have to like you would probably move Glaber to third base if Alonso came, or would you slot him right in at DH? Like where would you put Carpenter in the outfield? Like there'd be a lot of
Yeah, I
pieces to move
mean,
around.
that
Eh,
that's a good problem to have.
it is
I
for sure.
mean, realistically, they need to score runs. They didn't score very many runs last year.
Right. Yeah.
This pitching staff led them to the playoffs. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking a guy that can. I think you'd still hit 30 homers even in that ballpark.
Yeah.
Does he want to go to Detroit? I don't know.
Yeah.
Toronto's rumored. The Mets going back to the Mets. The Angels have been rumored. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Um, but wouldn't it be out of left field if Pete Alonso ended up with the
It
Tigers?
would be. Yeah, for sure. This
And if you're gonna go to Toronto, I mean Detroit's right under it. I mean,
that is true if you're talking geographically for sure.
yeah. I mean, I like the fit. I think it's a little off the wall, but I think that maybe the Tigers should go get Alonso instead of Bregman.
Yeah, it's an interesting take, but pretty good signing, obviously, to go bring back Jack Flaherty just to tie it all back together. But it's been a very successful offseason for the Tigers, and we'll see if they keep adding.
Yep. Well, that's gonna do it for this one. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe. As always, we appreciate you guys for listening and watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Later.